Hey there, community. It is Boo. I am behind the camera right now because I've lost my voice. You've probably heard that at this point, but luckily I have Rebecca with me. Rebecca is works in Seattle actually, and she's part of the DevCentral team, but you don't usually see her on camera because she is actually our content manager. So she is out with me this week at SecTor, luckily, and she's able to hold the mic. And I wanted to get her in touch with some people who will give her some more context around the security industry. And so Rebecca is going to ask some questions of folks like Peter. So Rebecca, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, it's good to be here. Peter, how are you?
Fantastic, Rebecca, and welcome to this side of the camera.
Thank you.
We work very hard on all things DevCentral, but it's really cool to have you on this side of the camera with me.
It's really cool to see you in person and to meet you in person. But I want you to tell me about your very first security incident.
My very first security incident. So that goes back to, it's funny, the SecTor is like old home week. There's a whole bunch of people that you meet and have worked with here in the Toronto area for decades. But I was working on an application with somebody I had a drink with last night. He was one of the founders, and we had a very successful day. We went from a few hundred downloads of our app a day to suddenly Bob getting a phone call from Rackspace, where we were hosting stuff, where they said our servers are melting, where we were over, I think Bob said last night it was like 3,000 downloads a minute.
Oh no.
And so we were very successful. We were number one on crackberry.com at the time, so we were the number one app, and it was just crazy, and it was success like you can't understand.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it led to lots of attacks, and we had people attacking our database, we had people attacking the API I had written, and it was just it was a nightmare scenario. Success breeds panic and everything around it. So
Okay.
it was it was exciting, but terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I know, Rebecca, you want to ask a question. However, I want to jump in because I think there's a question that should be asked by you, Rebecca. Sorry for intruding here. But maybe Rebecca needs to understand what Crackberry is.
I was just about to ask about that because what is Crackberry?
So Crackberry was the community site for BlackBerry apps. So we had an app which we unfortunately missed the Instagram hype, where it was you basically took a picture and did a bunch of stuff. And so we had a BlackBerry and an iPhone and an Android version, but Crackberry moved us up to the number one top app at the time, and that's where you went to download your apps. It was an app store before an app store existed. It was like a community shareware kind of freeware site kind of thing. So this was like 2007, 2008 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So is that like, is community share where it makes me think of like open source? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's cool. So the bigger you got, like the more successful you got, and the more resources you needed to use, which meant more openings for people to,
Yes.
take.
Right, and unfortunately, if we tie that back to where things are today, right, we would have been able to scale instantly. I would have had a bunch of containers that would have been able to spin up automatically. I probably would have had something running, say, in distributed cloud with, our virtual Kates or, our app stack environment that would have just scaled automatically. We were panicking, trying to spin up physical boxes to be able to handle this download. Our APIs were under massive attack. So we had SQL injections. Our database got compromised, and so understanding what good and bad traffic, had we had some API discovery capabilities, we would have known what was good and what was bad, and we would have had tools protecting it. At that scale, you can only do things with machine learning, and so you need the tools to be able to react to that. Like it was me, it was Bob, was his business partner. We had an IT guy who was part-time. And we were like literally 18, 20, like it was, we got the call at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and that was Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was, and we were going till Saturday. Like we didn't sleep, we didn't and we were literally like asking Rackspace to rack new boxes and stuff, and we had to justify the cost, right? So it was like it was $10,000 for just a new box to get racked. They could spin it up, but what happens if a week from now we're not successful anymore, right? We've got that sunk cost, right? So the cloud really allows you to scale, but the machine learning allows you to protect it at scale, And looking back, it's funny when I look at people, what the world looks like today, and I sort of chuckle when people say, yeah, I have a web app and I don't have a firewall in front of it, or there's a bunch of things. I was that person, right? And it's very easy to get lost in all the things that I tell people to do now when I didn't do them myself. But now with the scalability that we have, distributed cloud would have been a great solution for us, and we would have been able to scale, and maybe we would have had different problems. But those wouldn't have been the problems we had. I wouldn't have been worrying about the backup of my database, because the database was being written, and every time someone downloaded it, we were getting those 1,000 downloads an hour or minute. That meant a new user was being logged in and created. But if we weren't capturing that, that was lost revenue, right? So there's a whole bunch of things that happen, and the trickle down. It's not just the sunk cost; it's a lost opportunity cost. And it was fun, and it was great to catch up with Bob and all the other people here at SecTor too. It's like it's been old home week. Have people coming by and saying hi, so it's been a lot of fun. And it's really great to meet you and talk with you too. So
thank you. It's really great to meet you too. I'm glad to be on this side of the camera, and I'm glad to be in Toronto for the first time. Yes. So thank you for hosting.
And she's a hockey fan.
Yes.
So, yes. So
we both play.
We both play
terribly,
so.
But we have fun.
Yes, we have fun. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, you too. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye, folks.